Hey there, my name is Shoshana Church and I live in Southern Illinois. I am married to my husband as of next month for 42 years. That's a long time. I just wanted to talk to you today about my past experience with using cannabis, the stigma that I experienced because of that really carried on for a number of years, the decision that I made for my own career path as a medical provider, my excitement in deciding to become a cannabis coach and an educator, and your endocannabinoid system. So let's get started. So I grew up in the 1970s. It was the time of sex, drugs, and rock and roll. And those were some fun times, to say the least, but it was a big stigma. There was a separation of the kids in school, from the good kids to the druggy kids, and I was in that druggy kid category. And so at some point there, as I started becoming an adult and I met my husband and we started having a family, I realized that I was going to need to reevaluate my choices. So this was during the time of reefer madness, and marijuana was very, very, very illegal, and I was very paranoid. My children were hearing all about the negative association with marijuana because it was a gateway drug and they were being taught just say no. And I was extremely scared that if I got busted, I would lose everything. I would lose my family, my children, my home, my reputation. So on May 6, 1990, I walked away. In 2001, I went back to school to become a certified physician assistant. I have 18 plus years as a PA in family practice. I have worked with newborns all the way to geriatrics, and I know a lot about medicine and about pharmaceuticals and about side effects that can come from some pharmaceuticals. You know, we throw a pharmaceutical bone at our patients and then tell them to come back in a month and we'll reevaluate and see if there are any negative side effects that might have occurred because of that. In 2015, I had my own negative diagnosis experience. I was diagnosed with breast cancer, and I tried one of those pharmaceuticals and it wreaked havoc on my body. And I decided I needed to search out alternative routes to deal with my issues, and I wanted to look at plant-based medicine. So the first thing I did was essential oils, and those are awesome, and I continue to use essential oils all the time. In fact, I'm a certified aromatherapist, so they really spoke to me and helped me a lot. So because of that diagnosis and medical marijuana became legal, I decided to pursue getting my medical cannabis card so that I could try using some THC CBD products to help with the many issues that I had as a result of the cancer, just menopause in general. And one of those was insomnia. That was one of the first things. But that being said, after experiencing the change with my body, I decided that it was time to pursue an education as a cannabis coach and an educator. What is this system that is so important, that was only recently discovered in the late 1980s, early 1990s? In fact, when I was in PA school, there was no mention of this system at all. And it wasn't until 2007 when I first heard a speaker at a convention that I was at mention the endocannabinoid system. And he said, this is very promising. It could very well help with chronic pain management, with the treatment of anxiety, depression, PTSD, fibromyalgia, migraine headaches, and much, much more. So let's talk about your endocannabinoid system and how important and vital it is to you. The endocannabinoid system consists of 3 parts. The first part are your endocannabinoids, and that means that these are cells that you make inside your body. Endo means in, cannabinoids are what they named the system because of how well these receptors and these cells interact with cannabis and CBD. So the cool thing about the endocannabinoids is that it is an on-demand system. You make your own based on what your body needs and what your body's going through at the time. The second part of the system are the receptors, and those are CB1 and CB2 receptors. They are found all over the body, but the CB1 receptors are primarily in your brain and your spinal cord or your central nervous system. And then the CB2 receptors are found elsewhere in the body, so your vital organs, your muscles, your bones, your musculoskeletal system. The last part of the system are the enzymes, and these are what breaks down the endocannabinoids that have been used. It also helps break down the THC or the CBD if you have chosen to use those phytocannabinoids to help your endocannabinoid system out. The CB1 and CB2 receptors are so important for our bodies. They are responsible for helping regulate and maintain a state of balance in terms of memory, digestion, your immune response, inflammation, appetite, pain, motor function, blood pressure, bone development and growth, and neural protection. The CB1 receptors that are found in the brain are not found in the brain stem. Now, that is the part of the brain at the base of the skull there, and it's responsible for basic life functions like breathing. So if a person who uses opiates dies of an opiate overdose, it's because there are opiate receptors in the brain stem. The opiates bind to those receptors, and then they end up overloading those receptors, and they shut down the respiratory system, and the person fails to breathe and they pass away. There is no evidence at all anywhere whatsoever that you can ever die of an overdose of cannabis because there are no CB1 receptors found in the brainstem. I mentioned earlier that we all have our own endocannabinoid system and we make endocannabinoids on demand. Now, what would that look like? If you didn't sleep well, for example, if you had insomnia and you toss and turn all night long, your body is going to start making more endocannabinoids in an effort to bring about balance in your system. If you don't sleep well, you don't think good the next day, your brain is foggy, you might have a change in appetite because of that, and your endocannabinoid system is going to create more endocannabinoids in an effort to bring balance to the system and give you more clarity in your thinking and improve your appetite and such. Another example would be appetite. What if you have a terrible diet? What if you eat a lot of fast food and you never eat your fruits and vegetables and you drink too much coffee or soda or alcohol or eat way too much sugar? Your body is going to go, wait a minute, I've got to make some more endocannabinoids here because I don't feel good and I got to bring this body into balance. When you add phytocannabinoids to your system, and that would be in the form of cannabis or CBD, then you add phytocannabinoids, your endocannabinoid receptors then are unlocked by those phytocannabinoids. It creates an activation of the endocannabinoid cells and balance occurs. You don't have to use cannabis and CBD because your body's going to do what it does naturally. But when you add the phytocannabinoid to the system, you have enhanced your endocannabinoid system in and of itself. Thank you so much for your time and your attention. Now, if you're curious, you can work with me. Maybe you struggle with the stigma of the plant like I did, or maybe now that you have a basic understanding of the endocannabinoid system, you realize that it might help you on your own health journey. When I first got started, I really didn't know which direction to go. I was actually scared and intimidated to go to the dispensary, and I didn't want to ask any questions because I felt like I should already have the answers. So I got my certification as a cannabis coach and an educator to get all the information together so that I can help you. Not only that, but if you take pharmaceuticals from your provider, I can help you determine if using cannabis or CBD might have an interaction with your current medications. So you can reach out to me at www.cannabisremedy.org. I'm also on Facebook and also on Instagram. And I got a YouTube channel that I'm starting, but It's not there yet. Anyway, that's to come. Thank you again so much and have a good rest of your day. Bye bye.